Do you guys think Tua Tagovailoa will lead the Dolphins to the playoffs? Tagovailoa.
Really? Is he Hawaiian?
Yeah, he is.
That makes sense.
He's got that 808 face, man.
I hope I said his. I hope I pronounced his name right.
Is he Samoan Hawaiian or nah?
I'm not sure.
Sure.
You have to search it up.
His name gives me Samoan energy.
Tagovailoa.
I want to start here because
don't ask me how to spell that.
This is hard for me to say as a Jet fan, but I am adopting the Dolphins as my team for this season.
Oh my God. You're just like this guy.
The Jets are showing. Obviously, the Jets aren't winning. Obviously, the Jets aren't winning anything. I'm fine with that this season. I want them to win the lottery, get the first overall pick, but I enjoy watching the Dolphins. They are a really fun team to watch, and they have done seemingly everything correct. And you look at it, a lot of people, including you, were down on Tua last week. Everybody was piling on Tua. He didn't do much. He didn't contribute to the win. This week was a shootout. So his numbers this week, 20 of 28, 248 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. The more impressive part of those numbers is that 10 out of those passes, 8 of them being completions for 140 yards, were on throws at least 10 yards downfield after only 3 of those throws in his first start, 1 of 3. And I think that he took a huge step forward. They were not babying him this week. This was a shootout with a very good quarterback in Kyler Murray and a good team of the Cardinals who me and you both predicted to make the playoffs. They're no slouch of a team, and he stepped up. He looked comfortable. He was opening up the playbook and making, like, elite-level quarterback plays. Like, he looked like he belonged. The first week, I agreed with you. He looked sheepish out there, and they were babying him into the offense. But they really ramped it up this week, and he responded. But I think that the more important part for the Dolphins making the playoffs is the defense. They've forced 13 turnovers this season, 7 interceptions, 6 fumbles. They've had defensive touchdowns in back-to-back games. Coming into this past week, they were number 1 in the league in points allowed. And I think a lot of it has to do with the play calling. Brian Flores is proving himself to be potentially an elite coach in the league, and he's done it since he took over. Because I remember last season at the start of the year, people were making the, Clemson versus the worst NFL team comparison, and a lot of, granted, clueless NFL fans were saying they thought Clemson could beat the Dolphins. They were in the position that the Jets are in right now.
They can beat the Jets.
And no, they definitely could not. But that's a conversation for another day.
Jets are up 20-10 at halftime.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't want to talk about that.
You guys are sick, right?
Denzel Mims has 62 yards receiving.
You guys are
star in the making.
I don't want them to win.
You guys are sick right now. I just want y'all to know.
But last season, they ran cover 0 on 5.5% of plays. This year, they brought in Byron Jones, which majorly helped that secondary, and they've ran cover 0 on 16.3% of plays. It allows them to bring an extra defender, which they've brought an extra rusher on 35% of opponent dropbacks. The league averages 28.3%. And you look at teams like the Ravens, Steelers, who have been elite defenses. The Ravens at 41.6%, the Steelers at 43.8%. It's such an important part of the league. You're able to send that pressure, get to the quarterback, and make them make mistakes. And when you have guys like Byron Jones and Xavier Howard, you're afforded that luxury of being able to send an extra defender. They did a fantastic job this offseason, spending their money wisely, bringing in the right guys, and most importantly, they brought in a stud of a head coach in Brian Flores. I think that defense is one of the scariest in the league, and I think that Tua is coming into his own much quicker than we thought he was going to. I think the Dolphins are a playoff team.
I tried to look for the stat fast enough. Oof. That was a pretty nice monologue there you just sat down.
Should have looked into the camera.
Yeah. I was also one of the advocates of, laughing at the Miami Dolphins saying they wouldn't make the playoffs and not giving them a chance. I apologize, Miami fans. I'll take that back.
I laughed at the Dolphins at the start of the season.
No, I laughed like 2 weeks ago. No, I laughed like 2 weeks ago. Like last week, I think I was laughing. I apologize, Miami fans. Now this is what you was also pretty bad on Tua.
On the first game.
Yeah. But what he showed me was he showed me that he can make the big play. This quarterback class is pretty good with the top 3. Herbert, Tua, Joe Burrow. These guys are going to be special. But this defense and what they did to neutralize DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray's 300 yards, 100 yards rushing, but the stop in the fourth quarter to stop it and get the win, that was pretty impressive. I like this defense going forward. I think if Tua can continue this run, this team can come together with continuity and they can get it going. I think they can definitely make a splash into the playoffs. And I'm interested, even if they don't make the playoffs, I'm interested in what they're going to do next year with all that cap.
Oh,
because
they
still have
$7-8 million.
A lot of these players are young and already under contract. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do next year. That's what I'm really interested in.
And on top of the cap, they have the Texans pick, which is probably going to be top 5, and they have their own first-round pick. They're in perfect shape.
Ooh, I feel bad for Jets. You know why I feel
bad for us.
Because them and the Bills are going to run the division for like another decade.
I don't think the Jets are as far away as people think, but it does not help us that the Dolphins and the Bills are
I'm laughing because when we had the Joe Douglas debate, you were like, I think you think the Jets are what the Jets are farther than you think.
No. I think that when Joe Douglas took the job over, they were further than you think, and I think that right now. I think
you guys are further now than you guys were before.
Oh yeah, they went backwards to go forwards, but I just made the comparison.
I haven't seen the forward part yet.
I just made the comparison. Look at the Dolphins. They were in this same position a year ago. They brought in the right head coach in Brian Flores. They spent their money wisely, and they drafted well. And that is the recipe to success. They are not that far away. It's just going to take the right decisions. Will Joe Douglas make those right decisions is another question.
This team is going to be dangerous come playoff time if they make it.
I think that the biggest thing working against the Jets is that the Dolphins and the Bills look like they're going to be elite for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I'll say this.
First of all, apologize to
Tua's
his parents.
Not only can Tua and the Dolphins, I'll say the Dolphins mostly because I think they're a complete team, can make the playoffs, but they can maybe possibly win that division.
Oh, that's not a bad
thing. The Bills are 7-2. The Dolphins are 5-3.
It's not a bad
They're
thing.
Right there. They still have two. They still have 2 games against each other left. So those can go either way. They can sneak in and win that division.
That's not a bad take.
It's crazy because we thought it was going to be the Bills and the Patriots, but the Dolphins shocked everybody. Right now, the Jets are up on the Patriots. It looks like Steve Belichick, not Bill Belichick, is calling the defensive plays for them. So
are you really going to try to disrespect shit like that?
So I'm just saying, like, when you look at the Dolphins, they're a complete team, and I think somebody that gets overlooked because it's not a glamorous position is Jason Sanders, that kicker. He hasn't missed a kick yet. 21 straight field goals made, 17 straight extra points made. He's not missed. I have him on my fantasy team. I don't know about you guys. I do. I picked him up. Ever since I knew he was perfect, I picked him up.
Mm-hmm. The Cardinals special teams is so important.
Mm-hmm. The Cardinals had the 8th ranked defense now after the game that they gave up 30-plus points to the Dolphins. Then it was probably like the 6th ranked defense, and Tua went in there and he played really well. I mean, he had a 70% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, and what surprised me the most is, and I didn't see this in the first game, he looked stiff. He didn't look very athletic.
He looks healthy.
He
looks healthy this game.
The way that he faked out Devondre Campbell to escape the sack, then go and fake out Buda Baker to potentially avoid a big hit, that was special.
Didn't you call him slow too?
Yeah, he looked slow the first game. I'll say it.
Yeah.
Tua looked slow the first game. Mm-hmm. But I think when you saw this past game versus the Cardinals, he showed everybody what he can do and what we should expect moving forward. The 2020 quarterback class with Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Tua is turning into what we thought the 2018 draft class was going to be with Baker, Rosen, Darnold, Allen, and Lamar. Allen and Lamar are great, but I think it just goes to show that you need to be drafted into a great organization. Baker, horrible organization. Darnold, horrible organization. Rosen, with the Cardinals at the time, was a horrible organization. These 3 guys, well, not Burrow, because Burrow's with the Bengals. He's elevated them, but Herbert and Tua, they got drafted into great spots.
Wait, but I don't get what's so different about this class and that class.
The difference is that the 2018 class, the quarterbacks that were taken at the top and were highly ranked, it was supposed to be Rosen, Darnold, and Baker. Those were the top quarterbacks coming out of that draft. What they were calling them the Eli, Phillip Rivers, and Big Ben of that draft. Right now, it looks like Burrow, Herbert, and Tua are those 3 guys to compare to that draft class.
The interesting thing about that class is, like you said, Lamar Jackson ended up being the best quarterback so far in that class, and it's because he fell to a great situation with the Ravens. And that's the most important thing in the NFL is where you land. I think you can be a great talent if you're not put in the right situation, I think that Sam Darnold has fallen victim to that.
Look at Alex Smith when he got drafted by the 49ers.
Yeah, exactly.
It's horrible.
It all depends on where you land. And, you said it, Justin Herbert is looking like he's in a good spot in Los Angeles, even though I think they have to make some changes.
We'll get on that soon.
I don't think it's going to be too difficult of a turnaround for them. They're right on the cusp of where they need to be. The Dolphins look like they're ready to go and be a playoff team for the next decade.
The Dolphins are the 10th ranked offense and the 4th ranked defense in the NFL.
And
the only thing I'm worried about is their running game, though.
Yeah.
They don't have a running back. Myles Gaskin is more of a receiving back.
They've dealt with a bunch of injuries at running back as well. And Joe Burrow, even though the Bengals don't look great right now, I like Zach Taylor, and I think they have a bunch of weapons there that they can build around. They just need to fill in some gaps. But all three of those guys landed in a great spot. I hate the fact that we're going to have to play the Dolphins twice a year for the next decade.
I think it was the last episode or 2 episodes before when we were talking about the Dolphins, and I mentioned Shaq Lawson and Emmanuel Ogbah.
You did.
What was the first big play that happened in the Dolphins-Cardinals game?
Oh, yeah.
Emmanuel Ogbah strips sack on Kyler Murray. Shaq Lawson picks it up and takes it to the house for a touchdown. I think that was the first quarter. Those two guys, both free agents. Ogbah, he couldn't get re-signed by the Chiefs because they didn't have enough cap. He went really under the radar. He's a good player. And Shaq Lawson, just look at the Bills pass rush. Ask them if they're missing him. They're missing him. Both of them are really good players, and they weren't even the ones that people were talking about. We were talking about Kyle Van Noy, Byron Jones. Nobody was talking about Shaq Lawson and Emmanuel Ogbah, and they've been huge.
That's the biggest thing I give them credit for. Their front office has done a spectacular job with the signings, bringing in Brian Flores. I mean, they really have hit on, it seems like, every move they've made
Ted
for the
Karras,
past
too,
year.
your center. I don't know if you saw the clip on Twitter. I saw it on Twitter. Ted Karras, after the first game.
I'm banned from Twitter.
Oh, yeah, you are. the Rams and Dolphins game, Ted Karras goes up to Tua and tells him, don't worry about this performance. Like, we only played this much snaps.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about it.
It's a dub. He said dubs are so hard to come by in the league that you can't take them for granted when they come.
Exactly. And I feel like those are the type of guys you need in the locker room. And it goes to show the type of people they're bringing around. It seems like a great culture. And to be a young guy, have not even 100 yards passing for your center, the guy that you're basically under his ass the whole time, grabbing the football from him, tell you, hey, man, like, it's whatever. I think that's pretty cool.
I love what they're building there.
Hey, what's up, guys? You just finished watching a clip of the Pick Aside podcast. My name is Joel Moran.
My name is Jack Barteck.
My name is River Brown.
And we are your hosts for this podcast. We want to thank you guys for watching the clip. Like, subscribe, and comment, and share if you would care to, because it helps us grow. We're trying to make this a full-time thing. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting, and see you next time.